Hey, it's Mr. Johns, and I want to introduce you to a great online free robotics virtual reality programming website. It's created by the company that makes the VEX robotics kits that we have at River Glen, and most of the junior highs in Boise use the same robots. And so they have created a website, and it's at vr.vex.com. VR, virtual reality.vex.com. It is a browser-based programming tool with virtual reality robots. And so, had you told me this 15 years ago, 20 years ago, no, probably 15 years ago, that we would be programming robots in a browser, I wouldn't have believed you. But, we're here. This may not seem that amazing to you, but I'm so excited that we can just go to a website and program robots. Very, very cool, and it's a tool that looks a lot like other programming sites like Scratch. In fact, even the categories for code blocks are very similar, with the exception of magnet and drivetrain. So in some ways, this is a lot easier to program than Scratch, because a drivetrain makes a lot of sense. When you click on it, you can make something turn right, go forward, go backwards. It's in English. I mean, it makes total sense what's going to happen when you use these tools. So this is just an introduction to the environment, so you are familiar with and comfortable with coding using this tool. So again, the code blocks are all over here on the left side, and you simply drag and drop them onto the main screen. Another difference between this and Scratch, usually you have to click the when clicked block over onto the screen in Scratch, but here this when started thing is always here. You can't even get rid of it, which makes sense. Like, that's because you can't run anything without that code. So you are simply going to add to it, right? So the colors are there to kind of help you remember what's what, because after a while you're going to remember, oh, drivetrain is blue, right? The magnet is dark blue, but there's only one thing. There's only one. I don't even know what it does yet. We'll play with that later. But light blue is all the movement. Okay. Anything that has to do with how it looks is purple. Control blocks like loops and things like that are kind of yellow. Sensing is very light blue. Operators, which is anything that has to do with math or numbers, green. Variables are orange, and then my blocks is pink. And those are just like Scratch, so kind of cool. You can also add comments, and sometimes a comment will just help you know. You can add comments to your code to remind you what it's supposed to do, or anything like that. Okay, and this button at the very bottom just gets rid of this block section if you want to see full screen. Okay, so that's what that is. Let's look at the very top here. This is if you want to change the language. File, just like any other program, this will help you save and open projects. And so right now I have not named this program, and so you'll notice right here in the very middle where my mouse is, it's called VEX Code Project, and that's what it will default to. If I just hit save now, I'll show you. File, save to my device. So here's something that is also different. You notice you didn't log in. You don't have to log in. This is a purely 100% browser-based program, but if you want to save your code, you can just save it to your device. It'll download immediately to your downloads folder on your tablet, Chromebook, computer, phone, I guess. I don't know. I haven't tried it on a phone. But because I did not change the name of it yet, it's going to be VEX Code Project. VEX Code Project. And if you're sharing a computer with other students, there's no evidence that that's your file, right? Your program. So you always want to click right here and then name it with your name, probably Mr. John's intro, Mr. John's intro, and then hit rename. Then you would go File, Save to your device. Now it has a file on my computer in the Downloads folder called Mr. John's intro. So next time I would simply log in to the website and go File, Load from device, and I'm going to go, it defaults to my Downloads folder, and I have a million things here, but it's looking for a VEX, luckily, it's looking for VEX files, and I've got 4, and mine was called Mr. John's intro. I choose it, open it, and there it is, right? So that's it. Okay, so back to the top here. Here's the link where you will do tutorials, go through tutorials, which we will do together as assignments, some of them, not all of them. I'm kind of skipping to the most important ones. And back button, right here, back button. And then activities. So those are kind of, I call them challenges. And so there's a whole bunch of different activities here, basketball drills, castle color match, etc. These are obviously designed to kind of show you what the robot can do and what the program can do. So there's a whole page of these different challenges, okay? And it opened up a different page for that, so I'm going to close it and go back. So, and then if you really want to learn more, click on Learn. That just takes you to the VEX website, and you can find out more about VEX. I will not use that. So, all right. Then we talked about naming it. And over here on the right, this is the playground. When you click it, it opens up the virtual reality robot arena. I have the same arena in my classroom, the physical version. And so this is designed to help you program robots that can work in this virtual reality environment, or with real robots in a real VEX IQ robot arena. So this particular screen allows you to choose the playground. They're all based on the VEX arena, the robot arena, but they will match to some of the challenges. There's a few challenges that have to do with castles, and therefore they put some virtual reality castle elements into the arena. So this is the top view. If you're looking straight down at the arena, if you don't want to see all this information up here about the robot, you can hide that. I don't know if I'm ever going to use it, but it does kind of give you some information about your program or your bot. For now, I'm going to hide it. Okay, we're looking at straight down view, but I like this view right here, 3/4 view, and it'll show you what the arena looks like with your bot on it. And of course, to run the program, you simply just click the run. I haven't told the robot to do anything yet, so that's why it's not doing anything. You can stop it, and you can rerun, reset the arena by doing that. Okay. Yeah. So let's close that. So that's the playground, and then if you just want to start the program from here without the playground, you can do that too, and it loads the playground anyway. So it's the same exact thing. So there's just 2 different ways. They're kind of redundant. Both of those are the same because I can still choose which arena. So whether you hit playground or start and then playground, it doesn't matter. These other buttons up here, as it's loading the playground, a little bit slow. I'm going to close it as soon as I can. These other buttons up here, you can skip a step in the program. You can share your program, which is, I looked at it, it just downloads your program blocks as a PDF. So I don't think you'd ever want to do that. And then down here, these buttons, I like this because this will show you the actual code. So this is real coding. You know, I've always told people that when you drag and drop a code block, it really is coding, right? There's some coding underneath that you can't see, but sure enough, when you add code, I probably need to refresh that. It will, I think it did. Boop. Oh, there we go. So it will add the code. And if you're really fascinated with coding, like text-based coding, this is Python. This is a new language. It's not JavaScript. It's Python. It's just a different language, just like English and Spanish. They both communicate. They both can do the same thing, but they just do it differently. So if you're wondering why it looks a little bit different, that's because it's Python. Now you can click in. You can program in text or blocks. So let's say you want to challenge yourself and you want to make a new text project. I'm going to discard this. Here's what the environment looks like if you're without the blocks. Now these really are still blocks over here, just so you know. They've just hidden the nice, neat, little colorful blocks with the simplified words on it. But this is what a Python, if you're a Python programmer, this environment right here on the right, not this stuff on the left, this is what it looks like if you're a Python programmer. And you would create and then run the program by what you type. What's cool about this over here is you can still drag and drop. So it still lets you don't have to type. It's still kind of the lazy man's way of coding, because really coding is like drive train dot stop. It even pops up and gives you suggestions. I mean, they're trying so hard to help you learn to program, but I think it's a good idea to do it old school sometimes. It's fun to know some, It's fun to know how to type things. So if you want to do it text, if you want to do it block, you would go back to New Blocks Project. Don't save this. And look how different it looks. It's exactly the same though, right? You're still dragging and dropping, and the code, the text just looks, the code is invisible. So again, if you want to see it, turn on the code over here. All right. These other buttons are just, this is a monitor, which helps you monitor some sensors and variables. You're not going to use that very often, if at all. And then the help button, of course, if you're just completely lost. Help, help. So, all right. So that is pretty much it in a nutshell. It's a really easy program, especially if you've already done some things in Scratch. It's not much different. You're just making a robot do something to solve a problem, and it will do it step by step by step. And I hope you have fun with it. It's a great way for us to do some robotics programming when we don't have access to robots, or when we're learning online or from home. And I think I'll use it forever as an introduction to VEX robotics programming before we actually break out the robots. Because this doesn't allow you to get distracted with the building of the robot part, which is sometimes the fun part for some people. So anyway, there's our overview, introduction to VRVex.com. Mr. Johns out.